Okay everyone, so let's start our today's workshop. So we were making our project yesterday and this is what we are going to continue today. So yesterday we were getting something like that. Okay, means images were like that. So I added height and width in my image tag, that is img tag. Okay, so you can see that images are coming in this way. So we are going to apply flex now. As I told you that we are going to use the flex property of display in our image container. You can see my HTML again. I have created a div with the class name image container and I have created 10 more divs inside my image container class and I have given them the class name img1. So this is how we are going to apply CSS in them. So in my image container I am going to apply the flex property of display. Then we are going to wrap this whole thing up. So we are going to use the property that is flex wrap and we are going to keep it flex wrap as wrap. Then inside my img1, that is the
Ma'am, what is meant by flex wrap?
you will understand it. Okay, it is basically used to wrap our whole flex container. So like a kind of like we have created a container. Now we are going to divide space to each image. As you can see that img1 is the name of the class which we have given to each image. Now we are going to distribute the area which each image should contain. So for that we are going to use the flex property and we are going to keep it 25%, dividing 100% by 4. Like what right now I'm going to do is I'm going to have 4 images on my whole web page in a single line. So for that I have divided my 100% space into 4 parts and one part is going to be 25%. So I have used over here flex 25%. Now let's see what comes up. So look, what basically flex is doing, as you can see that I am getting 4 images in a single line on my web page. Okay, and as I will resizing the browser, you can see what's happening. When the web browser is 100% open, it is displaying 4 images in a single line. As we are resizing it, like you can see that this screen size is going to be for a tablet. So in the tablet, 3 images will be shown in a single line, and as we will move on in the mobile screen, so it is going to display only one image in a single line. So this is what flex does. It actually resizes the elements in our web page with the size of the browser. Now you can see that they are pretty arranged, but still for a mobile they are not. We want them in the center. So there is a property of justify content, and that is space around. So what space around is going to do is it is going to give equal space, like it is going to provide space around the images. So our images are having a space between them. But now what the problem is that we want each image to be in the center. So we are going to use inside my img1 class, that is text align as center. So you will see when I will be opening my website in the mobile, it will be displayed in the center. Now still you can see that there are some problems, and that is that the image is aligning, like it's coming just right after our nav, like our top bar. So we are going to apply some margin to it. We can use margin top. Let's keep it 50 pixel. So what it will be doing is it will be applying margin of 50 pixel at the top of every image. So is it visible how we have arranged the images on our web page? And you can also see that our background image is static and only our images are moving. So this is giving us a pretty beautiful parallax effect, and this is what parallax effect is. So does anybody has any doubt, or like if someone's flex is not working or some any problem like that? Otherwise we,
Can you please explain again the display flex and flex wrap?
yeah, sure. So look, firstly you can see my HTML. So I am having two classes. One is image container. So I have wrapped all the divs with the class name img1 inside my image container class. So what we have done is, firstly we have provided some height and width to my img tag. Then my image container, which is basically going to hold all of my images. Okay, so for that this is a kind of my container. Okay, so for that there is a property of display which is flags, which we have to put on. And what flags does is, as I told you, it manages to show the images accordingly as we resize the browser. This is what flags does. So just to get this in our website, we are using the display, we are using the flags property of display. Now what flags wrap is doing, as I told you that image container is containing all our images, so we are going to apply flags wrap. So it is basically wrapping our all the images so that we can apply flags. Now what flags 25% is doing, suppose, let me show you what flags 25%. Now suppose if I want only two images in a single line on in my web browser, so I'm going to use 50%, like dividing 100% by 2. So I'm going to get 50%. So you can see what difference we are getting. Like we are getting only two images in a single line. And if you want three images, so look, it will be displayed like this in our tablet screen and like this in our mobile screen. So this is what flags is doing inside that. Flags wrap is just wrapping the whole thing, and this flags is dividing our whole page. Like it is providing space to each image which is to be displayed in a single line in our web page. Is there anyone who has any doubt still? Okay, so let's move on to adding some, like beautifying it a little bit more. So we are I'm applying some border to my images. I don't know why I'm using pink color all the time. You can use any. Okay, so I have added some border, but now I want that on hovering, if you remember how to use the hover, so I'm going to apply some hover effect to my image. And look, there is another property in CSS, that is opacity. So I'm going to keep my images a little bit blurred to the user, and I want that it should be displayed only when the user hovers on it. So I'm going to keep the opacity as 0.7, and the value of opacity can be from 0, can be between 0 and 1. You cannot extend it more than 1 or less than 0. So when you keep the opacity as 0, it means it is not going to display anything. So let me show you. As you can see that no image, you can not see any image over here. If I'm keeping it 7.7, so you can see that my images are blurred, and if I'm going to keep them 1, so it is going to display my images with its original color that it has. So I'm going to keep it a little blurred using 0.7. Now I want that when I hover on this image, I want it to have a box shadow of 5 pixel at horizontal, 5 pixel at vertical, and then the blur radius, let's keep it 10 pixel. And the fourth parameter, if you remember Utsav, you use, so we can use that fourth parameter in our box shadow. So let's keep it 10 pixel, and color, let's keep it gray. Okay, so I have applied box shadow when someone hovers on it, and I want the opacity to be 1, and I'm going to increase the height by some amount, like, so that it actually comes out like it will be giving us a popping effect when I will be hovering on the image. This is what I want. So let's see what we have got. So you can see that the images are a little blurred. So you can see when I'm hovering on them, I'm getting a box shadow of gray color, and even the height and width is increased. So it is giving us a kind of popping effect which I wanted to create. And the another thing, yeah, one more property, that is I want when someone hovers on the image, as you can see right now that the mouse pointer is a still arrow, but I wanted to convert into hand pointer, if you remember. So for that we are going to use the cursor property and going to set it to pointer. Okay, so let's see what changes we see. So when I'm hovering on it, you can see my pointer is changed to the hand pointer. So this is what cursor pointer does. So we are almost done adding some CSS to the images. Now let me show you how it is looking right now. But let me change the 50% to 25% again. I want 4 images in my single line. So this is how my website is looking like, and when someone is going to hover, it's going to give this effect to us. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to add a header. We are going to add a contact form, and I'm going to keep it inside a div, and I'm going to give it a class name of contact form. So I'm going to create a contact form after displaying all the images. So for that you can follow the same which we discussed in our day 1 class, that is keeping the name is contact. Okay, so just wait for 20 seconds. So we are going to use 3 attributes inside this. Another one is method. Do remember to keep them like in capital letters. Then the another property, that is data netlify, and putting it to true. So this is what.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, what are these attributes are used for?
these
You
are
can.
basically the default attributes which we have to use if we want to host our website on Netlify. Like you can search for Netlify forms on Google. Okay, and over there you can click on the docs Netlify, and you can see that you need to apply these attributes if you want the form to work, okay, because we are going to host it on Netlify, so we need to use these three attributes as you can see over here. Yes.
Ma'am, you have written data neatly die.
Thank you so much.
So ma'am, if we want to host an other site, so we have to write it in different way.
No, like different, like if you want a form to work, if you want to host it on Netlify, so you need to use these three attributes in your form if you want your form to work.
Okay.
Okay, so look, for now I'm going to keep only the name property. Okay, we are going to use name, email, and a comment box. Okay, look, let me tell you in another tag that is called text area, because we want our comment to have like a bigger area. So for that we use text area tag. Okay, so what it does is so you can see that its size is a little bit bigger, and you can also define that how many rows and columns you want in it. For example, I want 20 columns, and suppose 10 rows in my text area box. So you can see that now its size has got bigger. So you can use these attributes of text area tag. Okay, so to the class that is contact form, we are going to apply some properties. That is, firstly I'm going to apply margin to it, and going to set some background color to it. Let's see how it looks. Now do remember that when you are creating the form, so we want to apply margin only on the top. So I'm going to set margin top to 100 pixel. Now do remember what you have to do is we can use the width, we can set the width to 100%, and to the height set it to auto, because when we will be resizing our browser, no, we want that height of the form should get changed accordingly. So for that we are going to use height to auto. Now another thing I would like to add, somebody tried to add Google fonts to your website.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
So was it working fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay, so you can see how my contact form is looking. Now look, let me tell you how you can add some properties to it. So I'm going to set the font size inside my form tag. Let's keep it to 34 pixel. Okay, now I'm going to show you how you can apply CSS to these input boxes. For that we are going to add CSS property to our input tag. Now you can apply Firstly, we can set background color to it. I'm setting it to purple because I want it to look it like that. Okay, so now you can see that there's border coming up, so I'm going to set this border to none so that this border isn't visible, as you can see. Now I want a line, so for that I'm going to use border bottom. Okay, and I'm going to give it a width of 4 pixel, keeping it solid and keeping the color as white. So look what comes up. So we have got this. As you can see that we have changed our input box to a line. Okay, I hope it's clear. And you can also set the color to white. So whatever you will be writing down, it will be in white color. Then you can also set the font size for the text that you will be inputting. Let's keep it 34 pixel. So let's see what happens now. As you can see, when you are clicking on it, you are getting a blue border. For that, we can use a property. Look, there is a as we used hover, if you remember, so there is another property, focus. So we are going to apply this focus to the input tag and going to set the outline property to none. So what it will be doing is, as you can see that now no blue line you can see. So this is looking pretty good. If you want, when somebody clicks on the input box, let's add some border bottom. Let's change it to gray color because we want to show it that it is okay. Let's add box shadow. And keep it gray. So let's see how it comes up now. As you can see, what is happening. So you can see that a gray box shadow we have got when somebody clicks on it. Okay, but look, what text area is not getting any properties, so we are going to add the text area also using the comma, so it will also get the same properties. Okay, so we have got a contact form, something like that, but I think the comment box, okay, if you remember, I forgot to add the button, so do remember to add the submit button. Okay, you can apply the same properties to your button also, like padding, margin and all. So somebody has any problem in it, like I have told you so many properties of input and it is actually looking so good. So somebody has any problem till here, because we are going to wind up our project. Yes.
Ma'am, my images are coming in one line.
um in one line, mine are also coming in one line.
No, ma'am. Means, ma'am, ma'am, like your images are starting from the top of the website. They are starting from the bottom of the website.
um Hardik sir,
Shubham, can you please present your screen?
Yes,
वो
sir.
एंडिंग में कर लेंगे ना अभी. शुभम इस वाले डाउट को एंडिंग में क्लियर कर लेंगे.
Okay, sir.
एंडिंग में कर लेंगे.
हाँ, अभी आगे चलते हैं.
okay, so somebody has any doubt about
Ma'am, can you tell how you changed, ma'am, like the name color, ma'am, the name text color to white?
name text color? You can do it like you can see that this name is lying inside my form tag. So you can apply the color to the form tag. As you can see, I have applied over here. Form, font size I have added. Rather, I put the color as white inside my body tag. You can put the color as white inside your form tag also. It is going to work because your name is lying inside the form tag, right?
Yes, ma'am.
अच्छा, वन थिंग आई वांटेड टू ऐड, जो मेथड और जो वाला जो चीज़ है ना, वो आप लोग जेएस में यूज़ करोगे. मेथड हो गया,
Yes,
एक्शन
so
हो गया,
don't worry
ये
about
सारे.
that.
हाँ, जेएस में आगे जाके ये सब चीज़ें यूज़ होती है सर्वर साइड पे. ओके.
One more thing. If you remember that our legend, like contact form, we have put inside the legend, so it is coming at left right now. So you can set the text align of legend to center if you want it at the center. Okay, because the task that we gave you on day second, in that it was in center. So I hope everything is clear for now. You can try applying the same properties to the button also, like border and on hovering and on clicking on it. So this is how our website is looking. Now one more thing, if you okay, so we are having a header. Okay, we are having a header class. Now let's use a property that is called position, and we are going to keep the position to sticky. So what it is going to do, when you will be scrolling up, okay, we need to set the top to 0 and left to 0. Okay, so you can see that when are you able to see this effect? Like our header has got a stick at the top. Now as you can see that these images are getting overlapped, so there is another property that is called z index. So this is basically your z index means you are going to keep it up. You can search about it on Google, and still you have any doubt about z index, you can ask us. As you can see that now this is all the images are passing under it. Okay, so I think we are going to wind up. If somebody has any problem, we are going to solve your doubts at the end of the workshop. Okay, so for now, Aditri ma'am is going to take your animation class. Aditri ma'am, are you here?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you for a second show your CSS file?
Yeah, sure. Which tag properties you want to see?
Ma'am, I just want to see that top 0, left 0.
Okay. This is basically the margin. We are keeping the distance. So we are keeping it 0. That is the top and the left. These are the properties which we need to define if we are using position. Is it done now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So Aditri ma'am, you can start presenting your screen now.
Okay, so let's begin with the transitions effect first of all. So this is my demo HTML file. We will be adding code over here only. So let's add h1 first and transition effect, and then a paragraph tag. Ma'am,
Yes ma'am, do you have any problem?
no ma'am, nothing.
Okay.
So for now, I will be adding the style tag in my header file, the CSS in my header only. for the so that you all can see the effects. So let's give some properties to our div tag. So what I want is that whenever I hover over my paragraph tag, I see some transition effect. So let's give our div tag some width, 100 pixel, height 100 pixel, and you can set the background color as, let's take red only. So let's put the transition property. This is the property, like for example, if I put width here, so whenever the width of div here will be changing, then the transitions will be applied add on that. And what will be my transition duration? Like without the property of transition duration, you will not be able to see any transition effects because by default it's set to 0. And I want this whenever I hover over my paragraph tag. So why I'm doing this? Because transition effect will only be in effect whenever the transition property changes, right? So let's see. So you can see that whenever I hover over my this div tag, it changes its width and this transition remains for 2 seconds. So for this you can use a shorthand property also, like what if I want to write this in a single line only. So I will write transition width and 2 seconds. It will work just the same. See, and what if I want to apply this transition effect on my two properties? Like I want to apply on height also for 4 seconds, let's say, and the height should be 300 pixel on there. So you can see here the width changes its property for 2 seconds and height for 4 seconds. And whenever I stop hovering over this, it comes back to its original state. So there is another thing called as transition timing function. So let me take 4 div functions for that. Okay. Let's do it on a different file. And so that there are 4 different and properties on transition. The first one is linear, then the second one is so let's put a style tag here also, and let us copy this whole thing. And the hover one also. And what I want is on D1, I want to see animation timing function to be ease. You will be able to see what do I mean by ease and the other functions. and the second one is linear. Third one is ease in, and the fourth one is ease out. So you can see these are 4 effects. Okay, you are not able to differentiate between these, so let's give margin bottom of 2 pixels. Okay, so the first one is ease. So what does ease do? Is it specifies the transition function with a slow start, then it becomes fast, and then ends slowly. What does linear does? It makes the whole transition effect with the same speed. This is ease in. So what it does, ease in does, it specifies the transition effect with slow start. And ease out, it just end the transition and slowly. So you will be able to see the difference between all the 4. There is one more property like ease in out. Let me replace linear with ease in out, but it works just same as the ease does. The difference is ease starts a little faster than the ease in and out. No other special difference is seen between these two properties. So let's move on to transforms. So what does transform does it in CSS? CSS transform allow you to move, rotate, scale and skew elements. We will be doing over 2D transformations here. So let's just have a div tag with hi there, and remove all these transition properties. So let's give it width of 200 pixel, height 100 pixel, and let's give it a margin also of say 150 pixels, and a background color royal blue. And next let's give it a border of 1 pixel, black, solid black. So now what does transform does it? We have a property called scale x in transforms scale x, and let's give it 2. So you will be seeing here that what does scale does it multiply as it just increases the width, or increases the uh, increases the div function by 2 times in the x direction. When you remove this property, this is originally like this, but when we did scale x, it increased by 2 times in x direction. So similarly, there is a property scale y. Let me add it here only in the console. Transform scale y, and it to 1.5, let's give it scale by 3 times. So see, here it becomes comes 3 times in the y direction. So what if we want both in x and y direction? So we can do scale, then it will be asking two arguments 2 comma 3, like 2 times in x direction and 3 times in y direction. So here you can see originally it was positioned like this, but when we did transform, its size increases by 2 times in x direction and 3 times in y direction. Similarly, what we can do is we can also reduce the size by putting 0.5 comma 0.5. What it will do, it will reduce the size by 50%. Like it is scaling it by half. So let's move on to the next transform property. The next transform property is rotate. Rotate, and now we want to give, let's say I want to rotate it by 20 degree. So here you will see it is rotated by 20 degree. And let's add another div tag, and let's give us a class of d1, class d2, and d2 is, and here I give transform property rotate minus 20 degree. So here you will see it is rotated by minus 20 degree, like it will be rotated at opposite to the, it is rotated in the opposite direction to the first one. So the next one is Q property. What we can do, let it be, you will see the changes in the second div tag. What if I rotate it? It is Q 10 degree, comma 20 degree. So what it is doing is, it is rotating in x, skewing this div in x and y direction. You can do it, let's do it for x first, 10 degree. So you can see that it is a slighter skewed in the x direction, like see that whenever you inspect this element, see the boundaries between this and this div tag, it is straight and it is tilted. Similarly, when you did hit skew y, it will be rotated in the y direction. So it is skew y, and it was skew x. And whenever we want both the degrees in both the directions, I will be specifying both the properties. So I hope till now it is clear to everyone. Now let's apply both transitions and transform in a single file. So for this, let's take a single div with, need this, like with, let's reduce this. Let's give it a width of 100 pixel, height of 100 pixel, background color saddle brown, and transition it should be on width for 2 seconds and height also for 2 seconds, and I want transform for 2 seconds, and this transition will be applied when I hover over this div tag. So width should be changing to 300 pixel and height to 300 pixel, and transform to rotate, let's say 180-degree. See this element, I wrote this text so that earlier this text was at the top and now the square is rotated with 180-degree. So it creates many beautiful effects. You can get many beautiful effects with these two properties. You can try any other angle also. Like let's say 3, 4, 135-degree. Cool. So this was for transition and transform effects. Now let's move to animations of CSS. The CSS allows you animation without any JavaScript or anything else. So I do not need anything here. So in CSS, the animations are applied by a tag called keyframes. This keyframe rules when you specify the CSS rules inside this keyframe, it will be applied to any, like I will be applying this animation in this div tag. So here, like from background color to sky blue to background color spring green, and okay, here also I have to specify width and 100 pixel, height 100 pixel, background color, let's say steel blue, and now I need to specify that which animation I will be using. So here the name of my animation is position. So and for here also, like in transformation, I need to specify the animation duration. So let's keep it 4 seconds. So you will be seeing it is changing its color from sky blue to spring green within the 4 seconds. And then this animation returns back to its original state, that is steel blue. So what does this from and to stands for? Like from stands for 0% of the animation and to stands for 100% of animation. You can add more to this, like you can also write 0% and 100%, and in between you can write 25%. background color red, and 50% background color green. So when we save this, so we'll be seeing the animation effect. Now here you see here that the animation is repeated only one time and then it stops. So we can specify the animation iteration count here. Like let's say I wanted to repeat it 4 times. Like this color will be, he repeat his animation will change for 4 times this whole round. And what else we can do is we can put this to infinite, like it will be doing that, this animation will continue throughout the time, it will never stop. So let's move it uh, let's add some more properties to our animation, like for at this current state my box is at this top left position. So at 0 it is at 0%, it is at left 0 and top 0 pixel, and then at 25% what I want is left to be at 200 pixel, and top to be at 0 pixel, and then at 50% I want left to be at 200 pixel and top also at 200 pixel. And then at 100% I want left to be at 0 pixel and top to be at 200 pixel. And to see these position changes, I have to change the position to relative here so that it changes its position according to this animation. So you will be seeing that in 4 seconds, this iteration will continue. This box changes its position from left 0 to 200 pixels, then top also reduces to 200 pixel. So you see that after this is the end of the animation and then it returns back to its initial position. So next we will cover about the animation timing function, which is similar to what we did in this file, the ease in and ease out and the other things. And then there is another property like animation delay. Like if I say 2 seconds here, it will wait for 2 seconds and then the animation will continue. What if I put this animation delay in negative? So what it will do, it will begin from the position when 2 seconds have already been passed. See, when 2 seconds have already been passed, the box should be here. So it is beginning from here only. So there is another property like animation direction. Animation direction. So the animation direction here, what is, it is normal. See, you will see no changes here. Okay, let's comment this animation delay for now. Okay, and what I want to see is reverse. So what will happen, it will be rotated in it will start from its ending position. And the next animation direction is alternate. What it will do, it will begin, the first loop will be normal, the second will be reverse, and then it will keep on alternating. But what if I want the starting position to be the reverse one, like from the ending one? So I can use alternate reverse. Okay, so this is a very, there is a shorthand for animations also, and it is animation, the name of animation, which is position, the duration, like it is 4 seconds, the timing function, like let's keep it ease here, and then the 2 seconds for delay, infinite, and then alternate. Okay, we need to comment this out. Okay, so here it waited for 2 seconds for because of this delay property, and then it worked. So that's it for animations, transition, and transform effects. Is there any doubt, anyone? Okay, so Simran ma'am, please continue with Bootstrap now.
Yes, ma'am. If anybody has any doubt, you can clear it at the end of this workshop. It will take only 10 minutes. I'm going to brief you about Bootstrap. So, I'm going to share a link with you. What Bootstrap does is it provides you classes, okay, which you can use directly at the name of the class to apply the CSS to it. Okay, this is what Bootstrap does. So you can open this website and you will see some links over there. So there are three links. One is CSS, another one is JavaScript, and there's JavaScript bundle. So you can add these three links. Okay, when you will click on this, you will find an HTML link. Just click on it, it will get copied, and in your file you can add it inside the head tag. Okay, I have already added. So I have added these three links, if you can see, inside my head tag. Okay, so basically what Bootstrap does is it provides you predefined properties of CSS in the form of classes. So for that we need to add these links, and then we can use the name of these classes directly in our HTML file. So let me show you what are some of the classes that you can use. Okay, so see, there is a class name that is btn. So what it does is it is going to create a button by just writing the name of the class as btn. It is going to create a button for you, but as you can see, you can't see any button right now because you need to define some height or width to the div tag. So let's do it quick, fast. Okay, so setting its background color. Okay, we don't need to set the background color. We are going to provide it the height and the width. Okay, so as you can see that our button has been created. You don't need to add any CSS into it. Just type btn, it is going to create a button for you. Now there is an, as you can see that as I'm hovering on this button, you can see my cursor is changed to this hand pointer. So this is what the btn class does. Now there are so many other classes which you can explore, but there is another one of the button. So it is going to add round corners with the blue color in the background of the button. So this is basically how Bootstrap works. You just have to type the class name and it is going to get your work done. You don't need to add any CSS to it. Rather, you can change the CSS. For example, if you want to change the CSS for it, so as you know that btn in itself is a class, so you can just type .btn in your style sheet, and for example you want to give it a border of 5 pixel of green color, so you can add this thing, right? You can see we have got a border of green. So you can even change the CSS, but these are the predefined CSS properties which Bootstrap provides you. So there are so many other, let me create another div and let's type some more classes. There is a class bg which is used to set the background color. So we are going to set the background color to, this is a class name which you need to see in the doc file of Bootstrap on internet. You can get it. So these are the predefined classes which you need to use. Rather, you can change the CSS for them. So bg is used for background color. You can also use bg white. Okay, let's use it dark. So these are the predefined colors. You can change their CSS anytime. Another class, okay, you must be wondering that we are adding so many classes in a single class. Yes, you can apply so many class names in just one class. If you want to change the text color, we can use text white class name from Bootstrap. Okay, so there are so many classes which you can explore. So let me share the link from where, look, in this doc file you will see all the class names of Bootstrap and you can use them directly in your website. So this is what Bootstrap is. So you can explore it. There are so many pre classes which you can use in your web page. So this is it about Bootstrap. If you want to explore it, you can, but this was just a brief about it. Okay, so this is it. If somebody has any doubt,
Guys, are there any doubts? Anything you want us to repeat? Anything